Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Antari Shipyard live stream. Today we've got episode 5 of the Captain's Table. In this episode, we're going to be taking a deeper dive into the cards for Alliance. Um, I will start off by saying that we are not going to get into the campaign portion of Alliance, but we are going to talk about the cards and the combos, their strengths, their weaknesses, as it relates to the greater game of Star Trek Attack Wing as a whole versus just the Alliance cards. I'm not talking down on Alliance or anything. Alliance is a great set. Um, I highly recommend um, new players, especially to get the campaign, give it a try, and then from there you can kind of bounce into Attack Wing if you want to, or even for the seasoned vet, the Alliance AI is super crazy, super strong, and it's something different every single playthrough. So this episode might be a little shorter just because there are only so many cards in Alliance. We are not going to cover the generics, the generic Excelsior and Akira. The only thing to really highlight with them is that they were recosted down, and that recost um, does translate over to Attack Wing in the greater game itself. But I believe everybody knows that information by now. If you don't, then there you go. But yeah, we're not going to cover the generic ships just because they kind of go with everything. Um, all right, so as always, I've got two guests with me. I have my guest host, and that is David Montgomery from the shipyard. Let me unmute their mic this time, and let's bring them in. All right, David, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing great. Happy to talk more attack wing today.
Awesome. Remember to unmute you guys' mic this time, so that way when I'm introducing, everybody can hear you. Um,
Always a good thing.
yeah, right. And then our special guest tonight, he and I at the 2019 National Championship, we actually got an advanced look at Alliance thanks to Josh Dirksen for that. But he is one of the people that were in the group with us, and I remember him because he was studying the cards really, really hard. So I thought he might be pretty good for this video. We've got the younger Sonus, James Sonus, with us tonight. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good.
Awesome. So I don't know
Yeah.
about you guys, but I'm ready to talk about some alliance cards.
Yeah. Probably the best thing to do.
All right, let me get the board brought up here. There we are. Got the board. Okay, so for tonight, since the alliance cards are not in number, there's no numeric order on them. I actually shuffled them, so they will be random pulls.
Oh, nice.
Just doing something a little different for tonight. Um, so we've got a couple people watching. Feel free to join in the chat, send a message. We'll be watching the chat this entire time. Love taking community suggestions. Um, with all that said, let's reveal the first card. Oh, I guess they are numbered. Oh well, I went right. Um, that's all right. Because there are a couple cards that I pulled out from this set, so it wouldn't have worked either way. Um, anyway, the first card is Evasive Pattern Delta. It's an elite talent. It's got the nice alliance symbol there. 3 points. Combat phase. Spend an evade token besides this ship and discard this card. Perform a maneuver with the speed of 2 on the ship's maneuver dial. All right. Um, David, how about you start?
Yeah, I was looking at this card and something like the Saran is a natural fit. If you've watched other episodes, we've talked about the now you see me, now you don't fleet. The fleet that just does all kinds of extra maneuvers. Well, evasive pattern delta fits into that. You
Yeah.
it's a good card to take an evade. It lets you survey the battlefield, and then at the start of the combat phase, you go, you know what? Making a maneuver is going to be way more useful than deflecting or absorbing one hit.
Yeah.
And it can either be used offensively to give yourself a better target, or defensively to get out of a really sticky situation. It doesn't need a ton to be good, but yeah, it's couple it with a lot of those cards that let you do more. Tuvok,
Mm,
the Maquis Raider that gives you extra maneuvers. All of those cards.
yeah.
Uh,
Thomas Riker.
yeah, Thomas, and
Yeah.
it succeeds.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, especially if you got an evade token just sitting there.
Yeah.
James, what do you got anything to add onto this card?
I mean, there's the natural combo that goes with the Saran and evasive pattern deltas, Sarita Carson.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So you do a 2 straight with Sarita Carson, you do a maneuver with a speed of 2 or less on your dial, and then you do the 2 bank after you attack. It gets you like from range 3 into range 1 and then out of arc.
Yeah.
It's just like it's really nice.
Yeah. Let me quickly pull Sarita Carson.
Yeah.
Oh, the Federation cards want to take forever loading up. Yeah, but I think you guys are right. I think the natural combos either on the Saran or with Sarita Carson, no matter what chassis you want to put
Yeah.
the Talon on.
I mean,
Really.
just Sarita Carson works on nearly everything, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a red maneuver, so it does kind of have its drawbacks, but it has to for it to have some semblance of being balanced.
Yeah.
Valeris is a nice combo with this as well. After you do a green maneuver, you get a free evade.
Yeah.
So then you have the evade, and then you get to spend it to do a bonus maneuver. So with Sarita, you're doing a green, a red, and then a 2.
Yeah.
Tons of maneuvers.
Yeah.
Valeris isn't great in and of herself,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
a piece to this.
But I mean, it has combos, yeah.
Yeah.
4 maneuvers around, and the first one can be chemocided as well.
There you go.
Yep. Chemocyte's another one.
Yeah.
All right.
So I guess put it on a Borg sphere. You do a green 3 straight, it's a 5 straight, you get an evade, start of the combat phase, you do a 2 straight, and then Sarita Carson does a 2 straight. It's a large. You're getting in range 2 for the board nerf, getting out of arc.
And that is true. All right. So lots of potential with this card.
Yes, lots.
As David said, it kind of fits into that now you see me, now you don't kind of fleet that we've talked about. We'll eventually do a build breakdown on something like that. All right, so card number 2, or random card number 2, is Subspace Field. It is a tech, 4 cost. Action, discard this card, remove all Ox power tokens besides all ships, range 1. Okay, James, you want to lead off on this one?
So the first thing that I thought about when I read this card was Admiral Q. And I mean, it might not be terrific, but you're doing a 6 come about without getting the 6 oxes. So
Okay.
I mean, it's not spectacular. It's a nice ability. It's kind of like a Duranidar type card, Subspace Field.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's a discard. I mean, it costs 4. It's really expensive, but it removes every ox, so it seems like it seems really useful in some scenarios and completely useless in others. So it's kind of like an odds and ends card, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yep. Um, David.
Yeah, I think there's a couple of really good uses. One is build up the ISS Defiant, Talkir, the enhanced hull plating, that whole
Yeah.
absorb damage for
And
Oxes.
Bioship Beta. Yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
and then have one ship that can clear it. Another is to run something like the captain's side of Mirror Admiral Worf,
Hmm.
Hollow Communicator, get more
Oh,
attacks, and
wow.
a Brentane as well. So you're
Yeah.
doing a bunch of attacks in the activation phase. Your ships have Ox power, and then a ship moving late can clear it all, so that
Yeah.
you're good for the next round. Um, Also natural combo with the new Golovec, who can bring all of the Ox power onto one ship, and then you can subspace field that ship so that you
I
don't
just
have to
had an
have.
interest.
Yeah, so that way you don't need all the ships in range one of subspace field. You just need
Yeah,
Vex ship.
that's true.
Yep. And chat was just pointing out Gullyvec. Um, I think
Yeah.
he's the one that I thought of too immediately. Um,
I just had an interesting idea.
yeah.
Like, since all of the resources are legal in the Fremont Reformation, there is this resource. Let me grab the text. Okay, it's emergency force field,
Hmm.
and it's not a resource you think about, but it lets you. Let me go back to it. Of course, you research for it. Okay.
No, that's okay.
Oh, you got it up.
No, no, I don't have it up.
Oh, okay, that's fine. Then just give me 1 second. Okay. Just- Wait, each time a ship in your fleet defends during the compare result step, you may disable one of that ship's active shields to cancel a hit, or disable two to cancel a crit. Either way, place an Ox. And it can be used every time you defend on every ship. And then after that, you can go Levesque, or you can subspace field, or you can do something like that. And it just seems like a really nice defensive combo.
Yeah, that's true. Um,
Just like some resource play, I guess.
Yeah, it's good. I think that goes nicely with the shield adaptation, improved deflector screens, that whole
Yeah.
build archetype. But
And then the Gress rail.
yep.
yeah,
Yep.
it goes together.
Yeah. Quite nicely.
Yeah. So, Subspace Field, I think it's an interesting card to play. I think the natural pairing is Gulливec, just because he can
Yeah.
suck up all those.
Because it's combat phase, yeah.
Yeah. Um, I mean, you'll be spending an
Because
action.
subspace field is an action. So if you're getting the Oxys during the combat phase with like Talkir, Bioship Beta, ISS Defiant, things like that,
Yeah.
then subspace field has to wait until the activation phase of the next round. So you would have to wait until those ships move. Potentially. I mean, you could do some stuff with Kanar. But they would have to do a Green Maneuver and then they would skip their action. But if you pull all the Oxys onto a Vec, only a Vec ship is going to lose their action.
Yep. So, all
Yeah.
right. Also, I meant to talk about this at the top of the broadcast. But for those people who are wondering, these cards were not designed by the WizKids design team themselves. Um,
Yes.
these cards were actually designed by Josh Dirksen, the same guy who designed Alliance as a
Yeah.
whole. Um, but he did have some consultation help with Joseph Vandriot on these cards,
Yes.
talking about abilities and the costs.
Yeah.
So I know there was some question out there on the community. It was either late last week or earlier this week about these cards and the whole mysterious quantum torpedoes thing that we got going on. Um, but these
Oh
cards were
God.
separate, so the quantum torpedoes that were released accidentally, they have no effect on this pack. They weren't meant for
Yeah.
this pack.
Yeah. And then I mean, there's the whole thing. There's the thing where like these cards weren't designed. They weren't designed by Attack Wing. They weren't designed for meta. They were designed to be in Alliance and to play with Alliance and to make it fun.
Yeah, I think Joseph did a really good job at having Josh
Yeah.
try and balance everything between the two.
Yeah.
Because nothing's super overpowered.
No, nothing. Yeah.
Um,
On that note, my perspective is they were designed to make Alliance work well, to integrate into Attack Wing and to not break Attack Wing.
yeah.
Yes. Yeah. They were designed by people who really actively play the game a lot.
Yeah.
They weren't designed by WizKids who sell the game a lot.
Not here to bash WizKids.
No, but yeah.
No. All right. So our third card in the pack is. Also, you'll notice that a lot of the crew are generic. That was an intentional design by the creators of Alliance as well. One per ship, science officer, crew, 3 points, action, place 2 scan tokens besides this ship. All right, David, it is your turn to lead us off.
Right. I mean, I think every Vulcan ship, or just about every Vulcan ship, loves this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe not the Taccumbra, because you're not actually doing a scan action. You're doing
Fair
a
enough.
science officer action. But
Yep.
the Kashara, I can name stuff, but there is a ton of play with Vulcans. Captain T'Pau, because you're going to have a scan token beside your ship at the end.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then you've got an evade and a battle station for the next round.
Yeah.
Just stuff like that. The science officer doesn't have to do a lot to be super good, but I mean, boy, the science officer is useful.
Oh yes, yeah. I immediately think of a combo.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, the combo that comes to mind is the Vashar, the one that ignores shields and animated Spock. You have one scan for the Vashar and one scan for animated Spock. You can't cancel the attack. All your hits are going through onto their hull.
Yeah.
No.
That's one way to do it.
Or just either one of them, and then you still have a scan left over. And I mean, obvious thing is Chulak, 5 scans, spend 1 on Spock, 1 on the Vashar, and then they roll 3 less defense dice. And everything goes to their hull. Yeah. There's just a lot of different things.
Oh, yeah. First thing that comes to my mind is definitely, as David said, maybe not the Taccumbra, unless you can find another way to give the Taccumbra that second action through, Martok or somebody in that event.
Or the independent flagship that gives scans.
Yeah. You do the scan action with, you can have the Taccumbra with the Beta Hirogen come back and do the scan action itself. So now all of a sudden you're placing.
5 scans.
I think you're up to 6 at that point. Because the Taccumbra is Beta Hirogen's ability.
Yeah. Scan and Beta Hirogen gets you 3 plus 2 for the science officer.
But there we go.
I mean, you could run the that tech that comes on the Grissom pack, the one that you can disable a shield to get another scan, and then you're just rolling in them.
Yeah, I think he fits into a build that is meant to. It's meant to take on a cloaker, if you know that your meta is heavy cloaking.
So that brings up, you can run Christopher Hobson, you can run Enterprise A, you can do all those sorts of things.
Oh yeah, Enterprise A is a pretty good. I didn't even think about Enterprise A. Enterprise A, Mr. Spock.
I didn't think about it until you said cloaking, but yeah. I mean, Science Officer is kind of a little bit niche. It's like a setup where you're going to be scanning every round, so it doesn't really go on a Fuselage fleet. In my mind, for that, you obviously run Chulak. So you get 3 scans, you don't cost an action, it costs less. But you only get it once, so there is that drawback.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry, just responding to somebody in the chat.
Yeah, Science Officer can go nicely in the multi-attack often fleet.
Yes.
Hmm.
The Sao
Yeah.
Paulo fleet, for instance, if you have another action.
Yeah. The Sao Paulo additional phaser arrays, technological distinctiveness.
Phaser cannons,
Hmm.
Yeah.
warp
That's true. Yeah, phaser
speed.
cannons on the Sao Paulo.
Yeah,
And you can do the fire at will, the elite that lets you make an attack with your secondary and your primary, and then your secondary lets you make an attack with your primary, and then additional phaser arrays lets you make a second attack with your primary. So you're doing 4 attacks.
Yeah.
yeah, boy, yeah.
It's a lot.
So yeah,
Yeah.
again, another solid card. I think the cost is about
Yeah.
right. I mean,
Yeah,
3 points.
I think it might be a little bit more suited for attack wing if it was maybe 2. But I mean, I've built many fleets with it, so.
Yeah. All right. So the next card. Next card is one I'm a personal fan of, and
Yes.
that is the 1 per ship weapon upgrade, 3 points, dorsal phaser array, 3 attack dice. Attack. Target an opposing ship at range 1 to 2. This ship may fire this secondary weapon in any direction. So it is a cheaper version of the dorsal phaser arrays that we already had in the game, but I think the cost makes it much better.
It also doesn't have the 4+ hull restriction and fed ship only restriction.
Yeah. No faction restriction, which is a good. I mean, it's a good thing.
Yeah, because it reduces the dice.
Yeah. David, do you want to lead on this one?
Yeah, I mean, my biggest appreciation for this is that you can Sakona it,
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
unlike the other one that has the variable cost, so you can't discount.
Yeah.
And boy, if I have an open weapon slot, and that's an if, that's a pretty big if.
Especially if you're running Sakona.
Still, if I'm running Sakona, there's a chance I have that open weapon slot. A 360 fire for a point, that's a really nice coverage option.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, being able to have 360 fire, especially on some of these ships that only have a primary 90,
Yeah.
even if they only have a 180, that it's not a bad thing. And I love that this doesn't have time tokens or disable or anything. It just works.
Yeah, that's the big thing.
It lacks a little bit of firepower, but that's okay.
I mean, yeah, you run Denatra Tactical Station.
Exactly, and it doesn't need a whole bunch to be decently good. I don't have any combos for it because it's a card that works.
Yeah. Jerry had a pretty interesting combo off of it that I didn't even consider when I saw it. I was like, what? That combo doesn't look right. And then I just thought about it and it ended up just making a lot more sense. And that's the Vorn. You run it on the Vorn. At range 1, you're rolling 5 dice.
Yep.
And the Vorn is one of those ships that only has 90 forward and then bullseye.
Yep. Yeah. Definitely something you'll see in the Fremont Reformation. Especially this next league.
Yeah.
I ran it in the last league, and it worked spectacularly because I didn't have to worry about doing a come about with the Vorn.
Yeah.
You do the initial joust where you're facing each other, and then from there, my movement didn't matter because I could fire wherever I wanted to, and as long as it was range 1, I was okay with it.
All you had to do was stay in range.
Yep. The other thing I did with that ship is actually hit it under Quark. Just because on the Vorn it's a 4-point weapon. I mean, there's better uses for Quark, but in my fleet that was the perfect place for it.
That's another thing you couldn't do with the original dorsal was Quark it.
Yeah.
You couldn't stick a cork in it.
Yeah. So, and I went into more detail on that on my build breakdown video of the Vorn, so you can head over there. It's on my Twitch. You can check that out. Finish this video first, though, please. But yeah, I like the dorsal phase array. It's something I'm going to run a lot. It doesn't need to have a lot of dice. It's something that I've seen Joseph do a lot, especially calling his games where he's flying a ship that can reach out from anywhere. It doesn't need to be an arc, and it only throws a little bit of dice. But at that point, a little bit of dice is better than no dice.
Yeah, and I mean, like, yeah.
All right, so dorsal phase array in the books. Next card on the docket, it is a 1 per ship, tactical officer, crew 4 points. When attacking, disable this card and reroll any number of attack dice. James, why don't you take this one?
Yeah. Um, it's a fine card.
Mhm.
It doesn't need anything. You just run it, and it's basically a target lock for ships that attack cloak ships.
Yep.
Like with Science Officer and the Enterprise A and Christopher Hobson. I mean, you can't use it for a torpedo, but you know. The only thing that kind of kills this one for me is its cost. It just seems really expensive at 4 points. Plus, it's fed.
Yeah.
Um, you know.
Yeah. David, anything you want to add?
Yeah, my only combo is to put it with Julian Bashir so that you can re-enable it.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that's a thing that we're all thinking these days,
Yep.
but that at least helps. Then it is a free target lock every round instead of a disable, so that it's costly after the first time you use it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm with James. It does feel a little overpriced. I know in Alliance, it's probably perfectly balanced
But
with
Yeah.
yeah.
its cost. Um, and that's one where it's okay. The Alliance side of it has to win out,
Yeah, of
and I
course.
get that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yes, cloaking is becoming, I don't know, more of a thing, but it's still a legitimate thing, and it is easier to stay cloaked. So tactical officer has a place.
Hmm.
Um, is it super viable? I don't know. I think there's a lot of ways to get quality, but you know, if this works for you, if you find yourself needing that reroll, then yeah, I don't think there's a ton you need to do to make it work.
Yeah. I think the only thing I think it pairs okay with car. It's not super spectacular and it's expensive.
Yeah.
But car allows you to re-roll that one dice twice, and then if you have more blanks,
Yeah.
you can try and use tactical officer to re-roll the rest of those blanks. But
I feel like at that point, I mean, there's just a better card for that. I mean, Tasha, run it with Bashir and Car. But
yeah, I mean, there's definitely better combos out there. Um,
but yeah, I mean, it's by no means a bad card. It's
no,
usable. It's good.
yeah. All right. So not much else to say about tactical officer. Let's get our board reset. All right. Next one is another fun card. Again, 1 per ship. I think they're all 1 per ship. And again, that's by design from the creators of Alliance. That way, multiple players can use the cards. This one is the full spread weapon, 5 points. After attacking with the torpedo upgrade, discard this card and the torpedo upgrade used. Make another attack with the same torpedo upgrade against a different target, even if the torpedo is disabled, has a time token, or you no longer have a target lock to spend. All right, James, go ahead.
The first thing that came to mind with this was Fusillade, but it doesn't work because Fusillade's already removed from the game.
Yeah.
So you can't discard it. I mean, one that you can do is you can do Dispersal Pattern Sierra, and then any torpedo you want. Fed torpedoes is the one that comes to mind, obviously. Fed torpedoes with Drex. And I mean, it gets costly. You have Drex, you have Fed Torpedo, you have Sierra, and you have Full Spread. But it's not bad. It's interesting. I mean, it's nice, and the images are the same, so it's kind of funny.
Yeah, and the chat was talking dispersal patterns here as well.
Yeah.
David, you got anything to add?
Personally, I like this with chronoton torpedoes. If you're gonna put the investment
That's
into
true.
chronotons, it is tough to pull chronotons off multiple times.
Yeah.
Just the action investment to get the quality. So full spread lets you make the most of that one time you get it, and your opponent may not be prepared for two big hits like that, two hits that bypass shields.
That's true.
So,
Yeah. And depending on what experimental torpedo bay says, if it says printed cost, you can't. But if it just says cost, then you can reduce chronoton down on the Krenim weapon ship. And then, because I mean, it's 6. It's a little bit expensive.
yeah,
Yeah.
experimental's printed cost.
Dang it. Okay. Then yeah, I mean, 12 points on a Krenim or 18 on a not Krenim is pricey, but doable.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, the one way to get it cheaper, you got to run Calvin Hudson as your captain, then you can Sakona,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
and that starts to make it more viable. Or you run the discount Picard, but even then, it's a rough sell. I'm not saying it's fantastic, but I do think there's legitimate mission play,
Oh
scenario
yeah.
play with that kind of upgrade. I would never say it's high level competitive play, but I think there's some fun to be had with that.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and I mean that kind of feels like what the point of Alliance is.
Yeah, and to be able to say, okay, yeah, that shield adaptation ship, I get that one. That's a problem. But you know what? That other ship that I still want to be able to target, yeah, now I can.
Yeah.
And I mean, full spread lets you do that regardless. But
Yeah. I mean, the only downside of full spread is that you can't attack the same ship twice.
yeah, and that's still okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. The chat's saying the Dominion the 8 attack Dominion torpedo.
Yeah, the 8 attack dice Dominion torpedo that converts all battle stations to crits certainly does come to mind.
Yeah. So
if you get lucky enough to face a weapon 0, your opponent is going to have a very unhappy day.
yeah. Full spread's a fun card. It's expensive, but I think it's worth it. If there's a combo that you can find with it to pull off. Definitely, we're talking.
Or wait, does the Dominion torpedo work? Because doesn't the Dominion torpedo discard? So then you can't discard it with full spread.
That's a good question. I believe David's probably got Utopia up. He could probably answer it quicker than I can.
It does say discard.
But you can use it with dispersal pattern Sierra.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. So full spread in the books. The chat says that they find it funny that the full spread and or dispersal patterns here have the same card art on it.
The same image. That's pretty nice. There's a couple other cards like that, like Type 8, Positron being.
Yeah. Next card, 1 per ship, battle hardened, the elite talent for 4 points. When the ship spins a battle station token, place 1 time token on this card. Place a battle station token besides this ship. So I'll just say this because it's fairly obvious, but this is the Sao Paulo ability, just balanced and worded correctly. Because when they did the unboxing for Alliance, I think it was either Josh or Tommy, they actually talked about this card specifically, and that Joseph fought them to put the one time token on it so that it could not be abused.
Yeah.
Just like how the Sao Paulo is being talked about. So that's where the one time token comes from. If people are interested in that, that's the story behind it. Um, yeah, the Sao Paulo came out after this, but you have to remember that the two design teams were completely separate, so they had no idea which each other were releasing. Um, okay, David, take this one away.
Well, I think we've all at least seen reference of Starmada's uh, post meme and maybe the video where they talk about the To Boldly Go Wharf with
Mm,
this. It does give you perfect quality because now you're
Yeah.
spending the battle station token to convert your battle station results. You still have a battle station, so you can convert your blanks to hits, and that's everything. So that's one attack with perfect quality.
yep.
Um, and it makes sense. It's a great little ability. Um, Alternatively, you don't even need the combo. Um, this is real nice uh, with anything that attacks or defends. Um, One thing I was looking at was bringing it in maybe with some kind of a defense draw like Colo,
Hmm.
and then you have a battle station token to defend with, and then you get another one to either defend again or spend on offense.
Yeah.
So there's not a ton of combos you need, but you want to find some way to either guarantee that you're attacking multiple times to make use of your second battle station token, or making sure that you're absorbing an attack.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. James, do you have anything to add to the card?
I do. I see one pretty. I don't know if it's obvious combo, but I mean, you run Battle Hardened and the Sao Paulo.
Yeah.
You spend a battle station, you get 2 back. Then you have Captain Telev, and you have additional phaser arrays. So that when you spend a battle station, what is it, a friendly ship within range 1 to 2 will get a battle station as well.
Hmm. Yeah. Oh, yeah. The Andorian captain.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, that could work. Um,
So then you get, I don't know, there's just an absurd amount of battle stations being thrown around everywhere.
yeah. I mean, I tend to lean on battle stations more than anything else.
Yeah, especially if you're cloaking.
Hmm. That's well, yeah.
Well, I mean, if you're not cloaking, target lock, I think is just
No,
okay. It's not statistically better. Target lock and battle station are statistically the same
yeah.
if you're attacking, but if you're defending, they're not.
No, I was just
Yeah.
thinking, Ferengi like battle hardened, especially if they're on a cloaking ship,
True.
because they're gonna spend to get the battle station token, and then they can spend it in their attack phase, and then get one back for defense.
And if you have Gint in your fleet, then you're not even spending the Latinum.
Yep, that's possible.
Yeah.
Um,
It's an incredibly versatile card.
yeah,
I would be surprised if it's not run in 1 out of 10 fleets, maybe 1 out of 15.
yeah. I mean, I would expect to see it and make an appearance somewhere.
Yeah.
There's another ship, but I just can't think of it at the moment. So that's all right. Uh,
What does the ship do? I might be able to come up with it.
I lost it at this point.
That's fine.
It's battle hardened. I think it's a pretty good card, even for the cost.
Yeah.
Um,
The one bad part.
yeah. Again, it's on par for Alliance. Maybe just a tad bit too expensive for Attack Wing overall, but getting a
Yeah,
battle
since in
station.
Alliance, you don't actually have to spend any points on it. You just spend your captain skill.
Yeah. All right. The next card is Improved Hull Plating, a tech, and this is not one per ship. This is actually just straight, non-generic. Well, it is a generic. It's not a unique. Improved hull plating, tech, 2 points. When defending, during the modify attack dice step, convert one crit into one hit. And this is a. Well, I already went over all that. Man, I have been up too long and I'm losing track of what I'm doing here. James, I think it's your turn to go first.
Yeah, I think so.
Go ahead.
Improved hull plating. I don't know. I have mixed feelings about cards that do that. There's the Romulan one that does the same thing and costs the same. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't personally run it, and I can't really see any combos with it either.
No, I think it's a card that you're probably, if you're building a fleet and you've got 2 points on a Fed ship,
Yeah,
or 3 points on a cloaking ship, and you don't know what else to spend it on.
yeah.
Um,
It's kind of like I Stab at Thee or Grilka or
yeah,
anything else like that. Janara Pell, just those cards that are filler, just because you have points in the slots left over that are useful.
yeah, and I can see a cloaker maybe thinking about taking it for 3 points, just to get rid of that crit from
Yeah.
coming to the hull.
But I mean, they would really be taking it for 5 points because they're not going to take this one over the Romulan.
Yeah. David, do
But
you
if
have
they take both, yeah.
David? Do you have anything to add?
No, I. This is one I wanted to find the combo because I knew it was going to be tough, and I just couldn't.
Yeah.
There's just not enough in the
Yeah.
game
Yeah.
to dissuade you uh, from from taking a crit to make it worthwhile
Yeah.
to spend the points on this.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was about to bring up the Sutherland and the Bioship Beta and that stuff.
Yeah, I mean,
That can only cancel normal hits.
yep. Man, that's kind of the reason why I drug it out, was
Yeah.
just for that fact. You can get rid of a crit and then to get rid of the hit with the Sutherland.
Yeah, it just always feels like okay, if I'm up against the situation where my opponent rolls all crits, then bravo, I will stand up and tip my hat and take my lumps.
Yeah, at that point.
At that point, the situation where I'm willing to spend the tech slot and the points on it, it's just
Yeah.
so few and far between.
Yeah,
Unfortunately,
I mean, I
that
think
is just what it is.
I think we all know what tech is technically going on the Sutherland at
I
all
mean,
times.
yeah,
So
like come on. There's only one that you put on it if it's legal.
And that's not to knock this. I feel like there's design space that can make something like this useful,
Yeah.
but it doesn't exist yet.
oh yeah, I mean that's probably true.
I feel like it needed to cost one, and then I might like run it more than not at all.
Perhaps.
Yeah. All right. So improved hull plating in the books. Next card we got is one per ship. It is a crew, 2 points, operations officer. End phase. Spend an evade token besides this ship and repair one shield on this ship. Okay, David, go ahead.
Now I'm looking for my notes on where this went. Um, I may not have notes on this card. And that might be because the operations officer doesn't need a ton of combos other than to actually have an evade token.
Yes.
Yeah.
Um, but repairing shields, okay, that there's some natural things you want there. Shield adaptation, uh,
Mm-hmm.
Improved deflector screens.
Improved deflectors just to keep it going. In fact, improved deflectors even more so than shield adaptations, because if you can get your shields back, I believe improved deflectors comes back.
Improved deflectors does have really weird text about that.
I didn't know that.
Oh no,
yeah, you have to
they're all
discard.
destroyed. Yeah.
It says if you have any active shields, cancel it, but it also says discard it if you don't have active shield. Oh,
No,
that's
if they're all
interesting.
destroyed.
Yeah, if
then
they're
you
all
have to get
destroyed.
rid of-
I didn't think of that. Okay,
So you
that's
can have
fine.
disabled shields.
Yeah,
And you keep
you can use it in combination with one, but yeah.
Yeah, so there is some play with the operations officer. And even taking aside those things, just keeping your shields around.
Mhm.
It's very useful. And I mean, point blank, there's been a lot of times I've taken the evade action and it just sits there.
Yeah.
I don't get shot.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Or if you're just not in combat and you want to take an action.
Yeah, I think that's a perfect spot for just when you're trying to get turned around to do the second joust. You can take the evade and
just want to get a little durability back.
yeah.
Right, like the Enterprise B, you can swap a token for an evade.
I don't have the Enterprise B. Let me look at it.
The AMAR,
Ooh,
if you
ooh.
don't hit the defending ship, place an evade token beside your ship.
True.
Uh,
I just thought of
the-
one.
yeah,
Yeah.
there's a lot of good things, or at least maybe not great, but at least viable.
And there's Valeris, the one you brought up earlier in combination with
Do a green maneuver
with
get
the
get a
evasive
free
pattern
evade.
thingy or whatever. Yeah, do a green maneuver, get a free evade. If you spend it, you cancel the hit. If you didn't spend it, you still cancel the hit. Except you didn't have any hits, so you just repaired a shield.
Yeah, Valeris. Intrepid gives you that evade.
Yeah, like your phrase. You don't need a lot to make this work. It's just a good card.
Is what
You can run it on Ducat's Bird of Prey.
Yeah.
Will Decker, that's true.
Yeah, Will Decker
Hey,
is one.
evades can now be spent as offensive quality.
Yeah. Will Decker is the one that came to mind.
Yeah.
Spend a shield, add a crit to your roll, and then you get that shield back.
I was so close to running him during the Blame Sam event.
I mean, he's a lower captain skill, but that's a pretty cheap combo.
By the way, this is what advanced shields should have been.
Yeah.
The 5-point Enterprise E tech.
Oh, yes, that one.
That added a shield, and if you still had it, you lost it at the end of the round.
Yeah.
No, this says if you still have the evade, now you get a shield.
Yes.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
It is.
And I won't say it's the best thing ever, but it's okay.
Yeah.
It lets you do more with something that would otherwise have gone to waste.
Yeah. And it doesn't actually require an action. I mean, sure, you have to have the evade, but there are tons of ways to get free evades in the game. Valeris, Ducat's Bird of Prey, Latinum. There's just a bunch of different ways that you can make this card work perfectly.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So, all right. Let's get the next card out. All right, this is a unique talent. Wing Leader. When a friendly ship within range 1 is attacking or defending, that ship may re-roll 1 battle station, 3 points. James, how about you take this one away, or start with this one?
I'm kind of sad because I don't really see a place for this card apart from filler.
Yeah. I mean, the
Like,
ability is good
if you
for.
can re-roll a battle station even if it's already been re-rolled, or range 1 to 3, or cost less, or just I don't know. I mean,
Or convert.
or convert. Yeah, that ship may convert a battle station. It's just I don't know. It sounds harsh, but I mean, I just don't like the card.
Yeah, and that's a fair opinion to have.
Yeah.
Um, I think this card is good for Alliance, but it may be one of those cards that, as David alluded to earlier, Alliance kind of won out in the design process because that's
Yeah.
what this is.
And I mean, that's the point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know, David. I don't know if you got any more to add to it. There's really not many combos for this.
Yeah, back in the old day where Colo could absorb every target, then
Mhm.
this would be kind of nice in that you get a little bit of defensive re-rolling on stuff, but it
Yeah.
doesn't protect you from blanks, from really
No,
bad rolls.
it doesn't.
Torpedo Fusillade is an interesting question to ask. If it works every roll, I don't know. I don't want to get into the rule debate.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
At least
Yeah.
something to bring up to put a pin in and
And
come back to
it
later.
might not, but it's not like no, this card doesn't work. The text might allow it.
It might not. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know that I care.
Yeah, it was about.
But and I think that kind of underscores how meh this card is.
Yeah.
Like this feels like a perfect Fed fighter card.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like a 2-point or a 1-point squadron upgrade.
Yeah.
That maybe even adds a squadron slot.
Ooh, yeah. And look, I'm not trying to redesign it. I'm just
No,
saying
yeah.
that's where it feels perfect.
Yeah. That's where it has a place in the game.
But yeah, I
And
think I'm
runnable.
with you. Even in range 1 to 2, I'd feel better about this card.
Yes, yeah.
Because
Mhm.
that's a true leader to me, is that it inspires more than just range 1.
Yeah.
But,
It's a wing leader, but currently it's just a little like not sure what the word. Group. It's a group leader. It's not a wing leader.
Okay, so I could put it on a captain that's on Deep Space Nine, right?
Fair enough, yeah.
Mhm.
And then every ship within range 1 of Deep Space Nine is getting an advantage.
Mhm.
That's
I mean, then we're moving more into like scenario play. Like you don't run this in an OP or in a regional. You run this in a scenario.
But that's kind of a nice ability for Deep Space Nine to give out.
Yeah, yeah.
Or
even Terok Nor, give itself some stuff too.
As we established last week, I do not recognize the names of former occupying forces.
Generic Nor class orbital station that is Dominion.
Okay.
Yeah, I think you guys hit the nail on the head with this one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not really much to say other than that. All right, next card. 1 per ship. Weapon upgrade 4 points. Enhanced targeting. When attacking, this ship may re-roll 1 attack die.
Cries in Klingon.
David, go ahead.
Yeah, I think the note I sent you was all things that multi-attack.
Yep.
And we've already talked about it here, but the pulse phasers, Admiral Worf, Anabrintane, additional phaser arrays, all of that stuff falls in when attacking, so you'd at least get 1 reroll on each of those attacks.
Yeah.
That's where this card shines. And if you want, Sakona it so that it's only costing 2 points instead of 4.
That's true too. It is a weapon. James, do you have anything to add?
Even though it costs more than Wing Leader that we just looked at, it's better. I mean, sure, it only affects your ship. Sure, it's only when attacking and not when defending, but it is every single time, and
Yeah.
it's not just battle stations. It's a decent card.
Yeah.
Like if for some reason you're not running Quark and you have a crew slot and the points, I mean, you can hide it under Quark and just get a little extra. And then with all the multi attacks and everything like that, Fusillade, Disruptor Pulse, additional phaser arrays, Wharf, and Operantane,
Oh yeah.
everything, phaser cannons, fire at will. There's just a lot that can be done with this.
Yeah, I agree. Really not. Again, not too much to say about it.
Yeah.
David's pretty much right. It's going to go with any multi attack.
Yeah.
All right. So the next card is Impulse Upgrade. Tech 1 point. Treat this ship's 2 bank, 2 straight, and 2 bank left and right maneuvers as green. Okay, very interesting. James, start.
I surprised myself when I saw this by really liking it. There's so many cards in the game that like your 2 bank 2 straight or your 2 bank 3 straight or stuff like that are green, but they're all kind of expensive.
Yeah.
And this one it's quite the opposite. So it's like, oh, you have 1 point on your Enterprise E, put it on. You have 1 point on your Hathaway. You have 1 point on your Bioship Beta.
Yep.
And it doesn't necessarily do a lot, but it pulls its weight for 1 point.
Yeah, agreed. David, what'd you come up with?
Yeah. So I came up with what I thought was a pretty nice combo, and that's to stick it on the Dominion battleship with
Yes.
all power to weapons.
Yes.
Because all power to weapons restricts you to doing green maneuvers, and the battleship, its only green maneuvers are the 1, 2, and 3 straight.
Yeah.
And so now all of a sudden you can 2 bank as well, and
Yep.
that makes you now not predictable.
Yeah.
Which is the one drawback of that talent is that you use it and you're going straight.
Yeah.
Yep.
The only other card that really works for all power to weapons, apart from Impulse Upgrade and stuff like that, is Lesket, giving you that green 4 come about.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. I'm agreeing with David here. I really like this on the Dominion, on the Jem'Hadar really battleship.
Nice. If you get all power to weapons to work, it's really good.
Yeah,
it is. I've lost many a ship to all power to weapons.
Yeah. All power to weapons, impulse upgrade, the flagship that adds to your attack dice, then you're rolling 10 dice. If you can get a lot of quality, you can get Drex on there.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can get Riker, and you can get Julian. You just get a very mean, very good ship.
Yeah. All right. Next card in the pack. Oh, we've seen this one get some playtime already.
Yes.
1 per ship. Calculating. It's an elite talent, 1 point. Activation phase. Discard this card. This game round, the captain skill of the captain equipped to this ship is 10. All right. I actually think this was on the winning. I think this was on Craig's fleet this past season for Fremont Reformation, where he ended up winning the championship game against Joseph. I may be wrong on that. I'm pretty sure I saw it there.
You're correct. It was on the Tacumbra.
There we go. David, go ahead and start with this one.
So do what Craig did. No, I don't have super combos for this. it's a it's a surprisingly for a simple card. It is a surprisingly deep skill, thoughtful card.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a discard. You have one chance to use it correctly, and that might be the first round of engagement. But it might
Yeah.
also be a little later down the road.
Yep.
And you just have to know when to pull it off because your opponent is going to have a lot of high captain skills. Maybe. Or maybe this card does next to nothing. But there's times where this is everything, and there's times where it's nothing. So yeah, I don't think it's so much the combos that go on this ship in particular. I think it's the combos that you run with the rest of your fleet. Do you run a high captain skill all around? Are you running a variable captain skill fleet with things like Meridor Gornale,
Hmm.
Learn Spur to Prey, Romulan Commander, those sorts of cards? Uh, it's kind of your call, but calculating can do a lot.
Yeah. Yep. James, do you have anything to add to it?
Yeah. So, I don't know. This could just be me. This is an absolutely amazing card, in my opinion. Um, there's just so many things you can do with it. There's Khan. Khan will copy the captain of that ship because the captain skill of the captain is replaced to 10. Captain Madred, his skill is replaced to 10. Any
Hmm.
admiral on top of calculating makes you at least skill 12 if it's a +2 admiral.
Yep.
Um, there's just so many things you can do with this. And if you're not running any combo that works with it, just like it's just a card. It costs 1 point, 0 if you have Hudson and you're getting a talent slot, and it makes you skill 10. I mean, in the Fremont Reformation meta, there's a lot of cards that get you to skill 10 above skill 10.
Yep.
But and this is one of them, and it's incredibly nice.
Yeah. I think you hit the
But I
one.
mean, like, David is right. Calculating requires calculating. You need to think about when you're going to use it.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. I think calculating works best in a low captain skill fleet. Um,
Yeah.
and then
You could
again,
run it with the doctor.
yeah, and again, I think the perfect combo is in a fleet with Gen Con where Gen Con's matching the highest skill on the board, and if you're facing a fleet with low captain skill as well, or
Yeah.
unmodified skill 9 guys,
Yeah.
all of a sudden now your con is higher, your your
Yeah.
your your captain with calculating is higher.
Yeah. And it like with the Madrid, you could run Canar, and you could do your action before you move. So if you're kind of like
Mhm.
on the trailing end of combat and you're going out, you could do a Madrid behind you or something.
Yeah,
It's so versatile.
yeah, I think this is a great card. I'm with you.
It might be the best card of Alliance. It might be the reason you buy 4 packs of Alliance and leave them sealed.
Maybe. All
I feel that was personal.
right. All right. Next card. Ooh, this card. Another card that I enjoy. It's 1 per ship, crew, 3 points. This one is Helmsman. Activation phase. When the ship's maneuver is revealed, disable this card. Increase or decrease the maneuver's speed by 1, even if this results in a maneuver that does not appear on the ship's maneuver dial. James, go ahead and start with this one.
I actually hated this card when I first saw it. I
Oh,
like it now.
okay.
It's the best way to increase your maneuver by 3, I think, if you run it with Chemosite. I mean, there's the thing that everyone thinks, obligatory Bashir.
Yep.
Um, but yeah, I mean, like increase if you're like a drone, or if you're an NX, or if you're a Fed shuttle or something like that, do a 6 straight. Do a green 4 bank. There's a lot of ways that this card is just good. And I mean, I really like the footnote that it allows you to do it even if it's not on your dial, which kind of overrides any questions or any people questioning what if you don't have it on your dial.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it lets you decrease it. I mean, if
I,
you're a Prometheus, or is it the Prometheus? I don't know.
the
If
Intrepid.
you're a Keldon, do a 1 white turn to the left.
If you're
Yeah.
And
just
you
on
and you get
anything,
180. If you're just on anything, basically, yeah.
Yeah.
the one turn is the most underrepresented maneuver in this game.
Yes.
Oh,
It's
by
only
far.
on ships. It's only on ships that don't really need it. Because all those ships have a 1 come about or a 2 come about that are all white.
Yeah.
Yeah.
David, do you really have any more to add or any combos for this card?
No, I mean it's kind of a mini chemo site,
Yeah.
and I like that. It's the flexibility to speed up or slow down, and being able to do those things like a 1 turn, a 1 bank on a ship that doesn't have the 1 banks, the 1 straight on an Intrepid.
I was gonna say that.
Mhm.
It's nice.
It speeds it up, and it gives you more access to green maneuvers because I believe the color stays.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
So, some ships are going to be able to pull off a green 4 straight.
Yeah. Or
Um,
a green 6 straight if you're a Borg sphere.
okay, that's just scary.
Wait. Nah, never mind. That wouldn't work. I was thinking a green 6 straight and some sort of Q thing, but that doesn't work.
No.
Yeah, but a green 6 straight with Admiral Worf removing the previous round's Ox, getting out of combat, it's
Yeah.
yeah.
I definitely the one reason I really like this card is for the fact that you can slow down.
Yes.
There have been many times where I have overjudged, or just something in my head told me I had to go faster than I needed to.
Yeah.
And especially if I'm running a higher skill captain and my opponent is moving first, this card allows me to adjust to what they're doing,
Yeah.
um, which is why I really like this card. And of course, Bashir, he's just a natural fit with this.
He's a natural fit with like half the crew in the game.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah. It's insane.
So, but yeah, I think that's the best use for the card. That's definitely its strength. Not too many
Is it
weaknesses for
yeah.
it.
Its strength is, I guess, yeah, it's really the reduction.
Yeah.
Kind of funny.
All right, the next card. 1 per ship, crew, 5 points. This is Commander. Action, place 1 battle station and place 1 evade token besides this ship. All right. I think, James, it's your turn to go first.
I think it's David's.
Oh, well, all right then, David.
Okay. Command one, like I know the combos are out there mixing and matching
Yeah.
all over the
Yeah.
place. But I actually like Commander the most with things that exist in this set. Right?
Yes.
Commander makes the operations officer better. Now you've got that evade token available.
Yep.
Commander feeds which talent was it? Battle hardened. Now you've got the
Mm-hmm.
It feeds both talents actually.
Yeah. Yeah, it feeds evasive pattern delta. So you've got Commander really does live up to its name. in that when you bring the commander in, you are supplying ships with what they need.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to get ridiculous, you can combo this with some of the Vulcan ships that are passing out tokens. What James
Yeah.
brought up earlier with Telev, who can give tokens away when he uses them.
Yeah, he
That's
gives a battle station or an evade.
yeah. Now he's got those out there and can pass them off. Like that's just crazy good stuff. But Commander doesn't need doesn't need tons to work well.
No. James, do you have anything to add?
Um, I mean, it costs 5, so
It,
you can hide it under Genesis effect.
yep, that's a good
Um,
spot for it.
Yeah.
Like what David said, I like it a lot with all the alliance cards, like the 3 that were mentioned, and I really just like it in alliance as well.
Yeah, it's
Um,
definitely priced for Alliance because
yeah,
I mean the commander is your higher tier
yeah,
um,
yeah.
crew. The only thing that I had thought of was maybe pairing him with the animated version of Kirk, where you're
That's a
doing an
good,
action, you can grab a scan token, and then you do a crew action.
yeah. And neither of them are actually ever performing the battle station's action.
Yeah, they're all placing.
So if you have a Martok or something like that, then you get a 3rd battle station.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just a nice little combo that's out there. I mean, it doesn't have to be anything spectacular. As you guys said, it feeds into the 2 elite talents that we've
Yeah.
covered. Overall, fairly good card. It is expensive for attack wing, but there's stuff to make this work.
Yeah.
And then, of course, for any cards that are handing out tokens or you're spending tokens left and right, their biggest weakness is going to be Obsidian Order coming out of the Cardassian pack, where they're stealing those tokens. You know, you're going to spend it. Well, I'm going to get.
But come on, how many fleets are really going to have Obsidian Order in them?
You never know. I may have seen one already.
Hey, that's cheating just because you're a mod.
Well, hey. I played against it, so.
Oh, I see. Okay.
I do know that the Obsidian Order, especially with the way I play, was a problem for me.
Yeah. I forget if Obsidian Order. Oh no! Wait.
So.
Yeah, it spends.
Yeah, it's whenever the opponent spends a token, they gain a token, or they gain the same token of that type.
Yeah.
All right, so moving on to the next card, we've got this was unique, inspiring, elite talent, 2 points, planning phase, target a friendly ship within range 1, remove and 1 ox token besides the target ship. All right, James, it is your turn to go first this time.
Yes. This might be the 2nd or 3rd best card that I've seen throughout the Alliance stuff so far. I mean, the immediate combo comes to mind is Admiral Worf. At least that's what came to my mind immediately. Is you do the Admiral Worf, and then the planning phase of next round, you get rid of the Ox.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, even if you don't have anything that gives an Ox, just say you have a Decora or a Weaponer or one of those one of the ships that has a 4 red straight, don't know why, but you know. Or you're doing a 2 back on a Connie or something, or just it just works with a lot of stuff. It works if it's the only card in the fleet, just because red maneuvers.
Yeah.
So it's quite nice.
For sure.
I mean, the only thing that hurts it is it's unique.
True. David, do you have any more to add to this?
Not a combo, but more of a combo breaker. We've talked about tractor beam being a problem, and
yeah,
and being able just essentially be a mean person. This is one of those cards that can protect you from those kind of combos.
Yeah.
So,
That's true. I didn't think about that.
for everything that the new Ben Cisco does to get rid of an Ox at the beginning, uh, you can still be, or well, Ben Cisco gets rid of the Ox at the end phase. But
Yeah.
there's still times where you can get an Ox power token given to you between the end phase and the planning phase,
Yeah.
or at least in the end
Yeah.
phase after Cisco or in the planning
Yeah.
phase. So now inspiring can kick in
Like
there.
Transwarper. Yeah.
Yeah, Transwarp. I want to say Positron or Brunt, depending on initiative.
Yep.
Yeah, depending on initiative.
Yeah. One.
Yeah, Positron the start of the planning phase as well. So depending on initiative.
Yeah. So inspiring's at least counterplay.
Yeah. And it doesn't even discard, you just use it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
one thing I thought of was the Avenger.
Yeah, that went through my mind as well.
Well,
To like
the
to
Avenger
yeah.
running Gul Maset.
Oh, I see.
So Maset's giving the Avenger the Ox.
I never thought about running Maset on the Avenger. I always thought about running Mirror Wharf Captain.
Yeah.
To get the attack and the defense and the Ox. But yeah,
that's true.
I kind of dismissed the Avenger because I was like, oh, you could target an opposing Avenger and then remove their Ox so they don't get the benefit. But I never thought about removing it after you've utilized it on the Avenger.
Yeah, that way, in my mind, for this combo, you can do it again with Gul Maset the next turn.
Yes, yeah.
So, it's a small combo that's out there. It's something fun. It raises the Avenger's attack up to 5 dice.
Yeah. The event, and then you run enhanced phasers, and you get 2 5-dice attacks.
That's true. That's true. Didn't think about that.
Yeah.
All right.
Sadly, you can't run Type 8 or upgraded because of rule of 3. But yeah.
Yeah. Let's get these out of here. Next card on the list. Again, I believe this card was in Craig's build. This is 1 per ship.
Yeah.
Tech, 3 points. Detection grid. Combat phase. If there is a scan token besides the ship, opposing ships that are both in range, 1 to 3, and in the ship's primary firing arc, roll 1 fewer defense dice when defending against another friendly ship. David, go ahead.
more love for Vulcans. I know it's unintentional, but
Yeah.
Again, Jerry, on my notes to you, I think I just wrote Vulcan shenanigans.
Yep. You did.
This is another piece of that puzzle that just says, okay, Vulcans, do everything that you do with your scan tokens, and well, since you have them, put a detection grid on there.
Yeah.
And I know I'm kind of wimping out here by not, naming all the cards, but go watch the Live Long and Prosper combo video and just think, oh yeah, they mentioned detection grid. They just actually forgot to say it.
That's true. Yeah, James, do you have anything else to add?
Tachyon Detection Grid has the same image. It should have had this ability. It's like it's kind of like a second chance for that kind of card. Like Tachyon Detection Grid targeted your ship and only up to 2 friendly ships. Sure, it gave the thing about cloaking and sensor echoing, but it also had the roll -1 defense die.
Yeah.
And I feel like this is a good card. I mean, there is the interesting thing that they did specify range 1 to 3, even though to be in primary arc, you also have to be in range 1 to 3. But I mean, that's just a wording thing.
Yeah.
Like David said, Vulcan. There's not any. I'm not going to specify combos because I'm going to be sitting here for the next 12 hours.
Yeah. It's basically, insert any Vulcan ship here, and have multiple scan tokens
Yeah.
flying all over the board. This is a perfect fit for that fleet. I think its strength is that it is range 1 to 3.
Yeah. And you don't even have to spend the scan token.
No.
Nor do you have to spend detection grid.
Yeah, I think Craig used it. He got used a couple of times. I remember him calling it out.
Yeah, I remember it. I definitely remember that it got called out at least once. I don't remember any times more than that, but yeah.
So yeah, it's a good card. It really doesn't need any combos to be put up on the board, just because it's going to combo with anything Vulcan.
Yeah.
All right, next we've got another tech, 1 per ship, reinforced shielding, add +2 to this ship's shield value. 3 points. James, what do you think?
I have run this card in nearly every fleet that I've built since we got Alliance.
Yeah, I think
I absolutely love it.
It was in your Weapon Zero build, wasn't it?
It was in my Weapon Zero build. That was the big thing, is that the card that came in the Cardassian pack says replace.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not affected by rule of 3. So you get 8 shields on a Kraxin, and then you get Glindaro, and then you get Mirok and Mirok Science Vessel. And then the cherry on top that I found out when I was on a walk with Dad and just thinking about Attack Wing is run 1.
Oh yeah.
Just run the board crew, just run 1. And then you're attacking me with 8 hits? Okay. You didn't do any damage.
Yeah, all my shields are coming back. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good combo.
Yeah. Run this with improved deflector screens. Run it with shield adaptation. Run it with the multi-adaptive shields. Run it with unimatrix shielding. Run it with anything that likes shields. Gressrill.
Yeah. Systems
There's
upgrade.
so many things you can do it. Systems upgrade, yeah.
Because that'll at least get you to the rule of 3.
There is the problem that if you're running systems upgrade and reinforced shielding on a fed ship, and it has a hull of 5 or more, you now just don't run reinforced shielding, you run advanced shields because you get the 3 shields back at the end.
Yeah.
But this card does still have a place. It's cheap. It's really cheap.
Oh yeah, for what it does, and that's definitely.
And it's not even unique like the new Fed one that came into Boldly Go. It's unique per ship. Run it in a swarm. Run it in something where you don't have a lot of defense. And it's just nice and simple. Yeah. It's concise. It has, 6 words? Plus a number?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. David, do you got anything to add to it?
I have a couple of little combos. The first, a very simple one, Harvester Prime. Because now you have more shields, and I think that O from James says everything.
It says I don't like Vidians.
I don't either, but that little combo now you go from being able to disable 2 shields to being able to disable 4 shields. Yeah. Now you have to figure out how to get a tech slot on Harvester Prime.
I mean, that's not hard. You have Hudson.
Yeah, there's ways.
Yeah.
We'll leave that exercise to the viewer. Boy, I sound like a math teacher, don't I? But another one is, this is a really nice way to get a cloaking device on something like an NX that has enhanced hull plating, because now you have shields. Now, I'm not saying that's great, but it's at least interesting.
Run it on a Weapon Zero is the big thing I'm thinking.
Sure.
Yeah.
with a
Sure,
cloaking
Weapon
device.
Zero
Yeah.
is great too. Uh, I mean, run a cloaking Weapon Zero.
Yeah. Run a cloaking weapon 0. You get 13,000 defense dice.
Oh man. No, I think it's a really strong card. The cost makes it completely worth it. Um, it's great anywhere. Just
Now, this is the reason to have 4 copies of Alliance sitting in a box.
Fair enough.
true.
Are you sure it's not the generic Akira, David?
You know, that was a strong second consideration.
All right, moving on to the next card. We've got another one per ship. This is Overcharged Phasers. Weapon, 3 points. When attacking with the ship's primary weapon, roll +1 attack dice, and that's at range 2. Okay, David, go ahead.
Yeah, so of course I'm already thinking put this with Type 8 upgraded phasers. But more than that, I want to stick this on the Reliant, and I want to put Kelvin Uhura at least targeting this. So now I get my
Yeah.
+1 at range 2 to 3. The Reliant's already giving me an extra 1 at range 1. And so really now I'm rolling 4 dice without any other weapon upgrade at every single range.
Yeah.
I like it.
Or 3. It
Yeah,
would be
3, 4 at run. Yeah.
4 at 1.
Wait.
And
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
just 3
Yeah.
more points on the Reliant plus an Uhura that's useful for a whole bunch of things
Yep.
Oh, yes.
on some other ship.
And especially with Bashir, if you run Uhura and Bashir every round,
Oh yeah.
So,
target the Reliant. Yeah.
and I don't know that I have to target the Reliant every round, but
Oh
it's
yeah.
an option. Yeah, I do think this card's more useful in Alliance than it is in everyday games, but I'm not
Yeah.
saying no to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting. James, do you have any more to add to it?
Run it on the Vorn. That's really the only thing that I immediately thought of. It's
Yeah.
I don't really see myself in a position where I'm running Type 8 upgraded and overcharged. However, I did say that 24 hours before I built a fleet with it and the Reliant and Uhura and enhanced phasers.
Hmm.
So it is a nice card. I like it. It's a little bit funny, the exactly range 2. It's I don't think something I've seen before. I mean, there's range 1 and range 3, but I don't think I've seen a range 2.
No, yeah, I think this is
Yeah.
the first for that. I think this could be good on generally any Excelsior. Any Excelsior, you can get Arsenal or Sakona. Yeah, there's ways to get other tech slots to get
Yeah.
Type 8s upgraded and overcharged onto an Excelsior. Because
I
at
mean,
least
here's a thought.
Hmm?
Run it on a Borg sphere.
yeah,
Your max range is range 2. It doesn't have it doesn't have a primary weapon value restriction. So you roll 7 dice.
that's also very true.
Put it with technological distinctiveness to get the extra stuff. Put it with additional phaser arrays. It works.
It does, yeah.
It works where Type 8 doesn't, and it works where Type 8 does.
That is true. So yeah, overall, I think the card's pretty strong. I mean, it's definitely it's more alliance leaned, but
Yeah.
there's some people out there might try it in a competitive capacity.
Yeah.
I'll
I
be
mean, you
interested
never
to see
know.
it. Yeah. So the next card in the pack is another weapon. This one is 6 points. This is a reprint of the quantum torpedoes that we've already had. I don't think there's anything different in the text. I'm not sure why I left this one in, but I don't know if you guys have any combos specifically for quantum torpedoes.
I kind of ignored it. I may or may not have ripped our 2 copies up and burned them, but
I wasn't being
until
literal.
I see a quantum torpedo that costs less than 5, because I haven't. There aren't any quantum torpedoes that cost less than 5.
No.
But yeah, it's Alliance, and that's fine.
Yeah.
It's for Alliance, and that's fine.
Anything to add on top of that, David?
I'm kind of with James. Wake me up when there's a good quantum. I saw them used to great effect about 5 years ago.
Yeah.
That's about the last time quantum torpedoes were any good.
Actually, no, David, I think we have to take that back. There is a quantum that costs less than 4. There's the ATR quantum, where you can add 2 hits if it's on a dreadnought, and it only costs 3.
Okay, a non-very specific ship locked.
No, it's not ship locked. The only thing that's ship locked is you only get the second additional hit if it's on an ATR. Otherwise, you're just paying 4.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, I want to see a 2 cost. I want to see a quantum torpedo that's like Fed torpedo. Take out the blinks to battle stations conversion and add in the extra hit.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, the problem with those quantums, they're rolling 5 dice, and
I mean, like have it have the star value. So on a Reliant, you're not rolling 5 dice, you're rolling 2, or you're rolling 3.
Yeah, quantums need to be feared.
Yeah.
And
Quantums need to be feared, kind of like quantum mechanics.
Yeah. So definitely an Alliance card. Even in Alliance, I found myself not wanting to run quantums just because they are expensive.
You don't really want to spend 6 XP on weapons.
No. I'd rather take dorsal phaser array.
Yeah, take dorsal and overcharge.
Yeah.
Or 3 Fed torpedoes on an Akira.
Yep. So let's go ahead. Throw that down there. So the next card we've got is Tech, 2 points, Impulse Efficiency, Execute Maneuver Step. If this ship performs a white maneuver, place 2 time tokens on this card and remove 1 Ox token besides this ship. So we're getting another card in this pack, or this set, that's removing Oxes. James, I think it's your turn to go first.
I don't even remember.
Yeah.
Run it on the Enterprise E. Take Chekhov off of your standard Enterprise E build. Use your tech slot. Get an extra crew slot. Run Drex. Do things like that. It's a good card. I mean, it's kind of like inspiring. You don't need anything. You just run impulse efficiency.
Yep. I do like that, taking Pavel Chekhov out of that build.
Yeah. And I don't run Chekhov on a different ship, or run impulse efficiency on a different ship. It's more options.
Yeah.
And it's not even ship unique. Run 2 of it on one ship, so you do a white maneuver every round. You have an Ox, and you don't even care if it's right in a row.
That's true. David, do you got anything to add?
This is again more defense against the tractor beam shenanigans, and that's useful. Besides that, no. What James is saying, anytime you think of using Chekhov, just run impulse efficiency.
Yeah,
Unless you are really strapped on your tech slots, which you might be, then you've got a crew for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. It's a strong card. I think it works well in both Alliance, and it's got a spot in the greater game.
Yeah. And it only costs 2. Like,
yeah, it's cheap. The next card, and this is the last card in the set, is Tech, 4 points. It's the EMH. Planning phase, place 2 time tokens on this card. Remove 1 disabled token on a crew upgrade equipped to this ship. David, go ahead.
I wanted to find the place that the EMH works. A month ago, boy, the EMH had all kinds of uses.
Yeah.
And then Bashir. So that being said, anytime we have said Bashir on this show, EMH.
Yep.
Because you know what, 2 time tokens isn't bad, and maybe now you can't get your crew every round, but you can get them every other round.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or you can get them every round. You just spend your action every once in a while.
Sure. So you have to weigh those decisions. The MH is a combo enabler. What combo? I don't have a specific combo. There's not a lot you need to do. If you want to devote Esri to the EMH, or not even devote, but put Esri on a ship with the EMH, now you're only putting 1 time token on the EMH.
Nah, it's a tech.
Oh, tech, yeah.
Yeah, that was the thing that killed it for me, was it's a tech,
so
and
don't
it's
do that.
4 points.
Yeah. But, just like we were saying with impulse efficiency, sometimes what you have open to you is your tech slot.
Yep.
Rather than a crew slot. So the EMH might be your best option. Of course,
I agree with that.
A lot of times you're going to find that crew slot for Bashir.
Yeah.
But maybe on another ship, you need to run some combos, and the EMH could fill that in.
That's true. James, do you got really anything else to add on to this one?
Well, when it was revealed, I was like, great, we have Bashir. This isn't a great card. But then I was like, take a step back. It's just like impulse efficiency. It's not even unique per ship. If you can spare 8 points, or if it's on a Pegasus, 6 points, or if it has Hudson, or the Indy Romulan fleet captain, then you're doing it every round. And if you run Bashir as well, then you can do 2 disabled tokens every round. And the more and more and more you do, it enables more and more.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the EMH is strong, as we've pointed out. Bashir kind of knocks it down a tier, but that's okay.
It looks.
It's a tech. I think that's probably a strong thing for the card. Rather than being a crew, so you're not wasting a crew slot on this. But overall, I think it's a strong card.
It is the first emergency medical hologram that is like really good, I think. Like there's the Mark II, which ganks. I mean, discard target ship range 1, disable all crew upgrades on the target ship.
Yeah.
But it's like, I don't know. I guess the image of the EMH kind of sums it up for me.
All right, fair enough. So that is the last card in the set. James, overall, how do you feel now that we've gone through everything about the set in total, for the actual game of Attack Wing, not Alliance?
I think it's worth, what is it, $30 on Miniature Market?
I think so.
It's worth the money you spend. It's worth the SP you spend. It's worth the time you spend recognizing all the cards and recognizing all the combos.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a really worthwhile pack.
Yeah.
That is great if you're just starting out. If you have the 2017 starter, or even if you have the 2013 starter.
Yeah.
You buy a starter, you buy Alliance, you buy the Alpha Hunter, you buy To Boldly Go, you buy just a couple things, and you can have fun with a really competitive fleet.
Yeah. I agree with that. David, how do you feel?
Yeah, the cards here add to the game. Period.
Yeah.
If you never play Alliance, but you use this as a card pack, then you're getting something worthwhile. I don't think you're getting the 50 MSRP, 40 discounted out of it, but that's an argument to be made later, and that's value judgment. Everyone has their own value judgment threshold.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, the Alliance content on its own looks fantastic. I have yet to play it, but the cards, as we've kind of evidenced today, they all add something.
Oh yeah.
There's a couple that are kind of like, okay, yeah, this this is meant for a different system, and that's okay. But the rest of them, like, they help, they enhance something. And if nothing else, you're getting more copies of photon torpedoes, fed torpedoes.
God.
Like, what's not to like there?
Yeah. They're quickly taking over my binder.
All the images.
Yeah, I think overall Alliance is definitely worthwhile in getting, not just for the campaign itself. That's also very good, very well thought out. Um, but the cards themselves, I feel like, as David said, they don't break anything in the game. I feel they're all fairly balanced, and they have a spot that they fit nicely into. Some cards more than others, but there's definitely space. And I'm excited to see if WizKids lets Lynn Vander Studios do a part two, and what all that's
That would
going to
be
entail.
amazing.
Oh yeah, I mean, I had fun playing the campaign. It's fun to play with other people. Um, Overall, I think this is a good card pack, or a card pack. This is a good pack with a good set of cards that add to the game more than take away. Um, and with that, I think that's the end of this episode. I'm not gonna do the normal question thing, um, mainly because I ran out of time and I didn't think one up. So,
No,
um, but we'll use that last question as the question to pay your guys' tab. But thank you to you both gentlemen for joining me tonight, to talk about the Alliance cards. Um, I was kind of questioning on whether to do a video on them, but I think it's definitely beneficial, after looking at them. And special thanks to James for coming on tonight as the special guest and talking.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah. So other than that, um, I am going to be away for the next week and a half, possibly off the grid. Um, so we're not. I don't have anything on the schedule coming out, in terms of stream. The latest build breakdown on the Scimitar came out yesterday. You can find that on Twitch. It'll be added to the YouTube channel before I leave. Um, but I look forward to coming back and getting some Fremont Reformation in. That should be starting up by the time I get back, if it hasn't already. Um,
Yeah.
Other than that, I mean, that's really it. Thank you everyone to join us for the stream tonight, and I hope you guys have a good night.